Welcome to World War III. So this is a game that some of you may have heard of or maybe even have played yourself. It came out a few years ago but was pretty mediocre, so they took it off sale, they've reworked it, and they're re-releasing it soon as a free-to-play game. This is the closed beta. We're going to take a little look at it. I'm just going to show you some gameplay. I'm going to try and cut out all the boring bits. I'm just going to talk for a little bit and then I'll just leave you on the gameplay if you want to watch it. And I just wanted to give this game a little bit of attention as it is pretty decent, I think. Especially with 2042 being a bit of a mess right now, this is a nice alternative until they kind of sort it out. And it does have kind of a Battlefield-y feel about it, but it's obviously not as big of a budget game, so you can kind of notice that. And it does play a bit more kind of slow and tactical rather than kind of fast and explosions everywhere and non-stop carnage that Battlefield is. So it's a little slower and more tactical, Rainbow Six, Tarkov-y vibes in that sense. The time to kill is pretty quick, so it only takes kind of a few bullets to put somebody down. So that alone makes you play a bit slower and a bit more carefully because you really can't take too many hits. And I'm just fast forwarding through the start of the game here. This is just capturing a point. So this is kind of a Conquest style game mode, Battlefield Conquest. It's kind of like that. It's not called Conquest, but it's basically the same thing. You got to capture points. They have to be linked up though. Here you can see we've got A, B, C and a 1 and 2 of each. And you have to have both before you can get any points. And you can see the enemy team is steaming away here. But we'll see what we can do. But overall, the movement and the gunplay, which is obviously two big important things in these kind of games, feels pretty good. It's more slower paced, more Rainbow Six, more Tarkov-y. It's a little bit kind of clunky in that sense, like a human would be. It's not like Battlefield where you can go from prone to sprinting in the space of a second. So the slower movement kind of feels reminiscent of the older Battlefields, which is very welcome to me. There's also some really nice features the Battlefield doesn't have, like on the left here, you can see it shows where I got shot. I like that. It's a nice little feature. It even has some incredibly advanced technologies that even 2042 couldn't manage, such as a fucking scoreboard. It even has a spawn camera as well. When you spawn on a teammate, it'll show you literally what they're doing, so you can decide whether it's a good or bad idea to spawn on them. So it does have a lot of the old nice features the Battlefield had that seem to be omitted from this year's entry in 2042. So yeah, it does have that older Battlefield kind of feel. On the right side of my screen, though, you can see a very Call of Duty-inspired system, basically like a kill streak reward system, except this works on points. So I can get a UAV if I keep saving them up, I can get an artillery strike. If I keep saving them up, I can get a tank. So there's that kind of kill streak system as well, and you can change those perks and customize them to have different stuff. And the customization in general is pretty deep. You can do quite a lot with your character. You can obviously get a whole different bunch of guns. There's loads of different attachments that do affect the weapon. And it's kind of Tarkov inspired in that way. You can mix and match a lot of things. There's also a weight system. So if you put on the heavier armor, you'll be slower moving, but you'll be able to take a few more shots. Or you can take the armor off and you'll be able to sprint around a lot faster, but you won't be able to take as many bullets. There's also ammo types and various gadgets and things you can take. And there's actual character customization itself. So you can wear a balaclava if you want. You can wear just like a face mask. You can wear a hat. You can wear no mask. You can wear sunglasses. You can change all that kind of stuff for your body as well. So there's a fair bit of character customization too, which is always nice to have, I think, as long as it doesn't go too far into the realms of silliness and you start having characters that look like Tom Cruise running around Battlefield 5. Or a fucking Lara Croft skin in Rainbow Six. It's just quite immersion breaking for this kind of game. I really don't like it. Or like pink weapon skins and things like that. It's just, yeah, doesn't really feel like you'd actually want to have a bright pink weapon in the middle of a war. On that side of things, though, as I mentioned, this is a free-to-play game, so we can expect some microtransactions, especially as it's published by My.Games, who publish Conqueror's Blade, which you may have seen on this channel, which is a microtransaction game, but it's not paid to win. You can play the game completely fine without ever spending a penny, and I assume this will hopefully be the same, and it will just be cosmetic things. It's not like you're going to be able to unlock some kind of super gun that has explosive ammo and one-shots everybody or something. It'll probably just be like faster leveling and cosmetics, mostly. So as long as it stays to that, doesn't bother me at all. Obviously, that's personal preference, though. Each to their own. Like I say, I've played a lot of Conqueror's Blade, and there's never really been any moment where you need to spend any money. So yeah, should be fine. And while it is free to play, I'm not actually sure when it releases, but you can play this right now if you want to. This is the closed beta that I'm playing, and for $15, which is what I paid, you can get into it. So it is kind of a pledge to the game. You can potentially get in free, I think, if you subscribe to their newsletter or something like that, but there's only a chance you'll get in with that, so got a couple of options there, though, if you do want to try and get in. But I imagine it won't be long until it is released, as this is the closed beta, and it does feel pretty good. Hasn't really felt too buggy or anything. The matchmaking has had some problems in the last few days, but I think they've sorted that out now. So you should be all good to go, depending on whether the beta's still going when you watch this video, of course. So that's most of World War 3. What else is there? There's only 2 game modes at the moment. There's this kind of conquesty game mode and team deathmatch, right? A couple of classics. Maybe there'll be more in the full game, or maybe they'll be added later, but a kind of rush game mode, or like breakthrough, or operations, whatever you want to call it, from Battlefield. That kind of attack and defend kind of game mode would be really fun, or planting a bomb or something like that. Those are always fun objectives to play, I think, so it'd be cool if they had that kind of mode. And another cool thing, if you're Russian or Polish, you might recognize some of the places. There is a Warsaw level and a Moscow level, and they are kind of true representations, apparently, to scale of real geographic locations on our planet. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's most of the good things about this game. Are there any downsides? Well, yes, there are. The first thing is the player count of the game mode. So in this Conquest-style game mode, it's 16 versus 16, but the map is pretty big. So I think you could probably crank it up to, instead of 32 players, you could probably go to 48, and it would still feel pretty good. It wouldn't feel like too much, but you'd be able to fill the map up a bit more, because sometimes it feels a little bit empty, a little bit lonely in places. In the team deathmatch mode, it's only 10v10. And again, sometimes it could just get a little slow and you can run around for ages and not find anybody because the maps are pretty big and pretty intricate. There's kind of different levels, like ground floor, first floor, second floor, etc. So it can be hard to find people sometimes, which can make the game a little slow. And if you're kind of comparing it to Battlefield in that sense, you don't really get that in Battlefield. There's always some action to be had somewhere and it's quite easy to find. So yeah, I'd like to see the player count maybe go up a little just to see how it is. With the time to kill being so short though, that could be a bad move. It might make it difficult to actually move anywhere because there's eyes in all directions. So having that short time to kill with a low player count does kind of work together. But with that in mind, I think the time to kill could go up a little bit. It could maybe take a little bit longer to kill people just so that you can potentially have more gunfights with people rather than it being a case of who sees who first. If you come up behind somebody or you flank somebody, they're probably dead, right? Unless you miss horribly. It's much like Rainbow Six or Call of Duty in that sense where people die fast. It's not like Battlefield where you can take a few shots and you'll probably have a little bit of time to get to cover even if you are being shot, and you'll be able to survive and heal up and then pop out and return fire and have a proper back and forth gunfight rather than everything going down quickly. As you just saw there, that guy got flanked, he died instantly. This guy getting flanked, not a chance. There's no chance he had to turn around and try and retaliate there. He was dead. So yeah, if you don't like shooters with a really short time to kill, you might not enjoy this. Short time to kill is good in a way though, because it does make you play more carefully and more tactically. You won't go charging around corners and running around in the open too much. You will be a little bit more careful. And that can create some more intense gunfights, because you really got to try and put the movement work in to try not to die. So yeah, there is that. The other thing that's a little bit lackluster is some of the sounds in the game. Some of the guns sound a bit puny. They could definitely be better. Of course, maybe there's a chance they will be. This is only a closed beta, but when you compare it to something like Battlefield, which is obviously a AAA title and they've got more money, it is noticeably paling in comparison. And it just doesn't have that kind of epic feel like Battlefield does because there's not so much going on. There's no music, really. It doesn't quite have the epicness that something like Battlefield has, but obviously that's something that Battlefield goes for, to be really cinematic and to have those cool moments. This is a bit slower paced and doesn't quite have that so much, because the level can feel kind of empty. And I think that, again, is in part to the lower player count of these levels. I think if you fill them up a bit, there'd be a bit more going on, more gunshots, more grenades going off and things. And it would just create that epicness a bit more that Battlefield has. Not that it necessarily needs to try and be Battlefield, but it obviously is trying to be Battlefield in some ways. And I think that's about it. That's all I've got to say on World War 3. I just wanted to put this out there. As I say, I do like this game. It's obviously quite small right now, isn't really well known, so just wanted to promote it a little bit. This isn't a sponsored video. I'm not being paid to show you this. I just played the game. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Especially with Battlefield 2042 being a bit of a disappointment right now, this is something similar that can kind of scratch that itch for a Battlefield-y type game to play, but is a little bit different and is kind of its own thing and is, like I say, the culmination of all top shooters rolled into one. There's a lot of inspiration from different games here. And it works pretty well, I think. But there we go. I'll leave you there. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of this match. There is a pretty funny double take I do on somebody in a minute that shit me up a treat. You'll see. I have been streaming this over on Twitch as well. I'll put the link in the description if you want to check that out. I stream all my shooter stuff over there. I usually do strategy stuff on the YouTube streams and then shooter stuff over on the Twitch streams. Been playing some Battlefield over there. Been playing this. I play Vermintide over there as well because that's kind of a first-person-y game. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the future.
Enemy airstrike fast approaching. Patch me up. Our units are Our units are taking hold of objective Bravo 2. Your UAV is ready for deployment. Friendly airstrike incoming. Objective. Charlie 1 is under attack.
Another notch on the stop.
Friendly airstrike incoming. Area Bravo is under our control. Our units are taking hold of objective Alpha 1.
Fuck grenade!
Objective Bravo 2 is under attack. Our UAV is online over the area.
Get back in there!
Be advised, enemy offensive drone spotted in your AO.
Medpack!
Our units are taking hold of objective Alpha 2. Enemy airstrike fast approaching. Our units are taking hold of objective Charlie 2. Objective Alpha 1 is under attack. Your UAV is ready for deployment. Enemy tank spotted in your area. Our
Like
units
that!
are taking hold of objective Bravo 2. Objective Charlie 2 is under attack. Our units are taking hold of objective Alpha 1. Our units are taking hold of objective Charlie 2. Our units are taking hold of objective Alpha 1. Our UAV is online over the area.
Give me some gear.
Area Alpha is under our control. Objective Bravo 2 is under attack. Friendly APC has entered the battle.